Liberty Mutual. So that comes up, and I started figuring out because I started rehearsing by the time I realized, oh, did Jack try and call me? And it was actually me that called him.
So it was a voice text.
And
it
T-Mobile turns it into a text. I don't go to voicemail on T-Mobile. It just shows up as a text, and it was this rambling like.
Yeah, so
for
Mutual,
a while.
Yeah, Liberty Mutual. Then it went to another commercial. I can't remember what it was. So it was a mixture.
See where it started talking about massage.
Yeah, but and that was a mistranslation too. On top of that,
yeah,
it was a mistranslation. I swear to God, it wasn't me.
So you didn't get to hear the voice. You just had like all this gibberish from me changing the channels on the radio, and it was picking it up.
So funny,
bizarre. I mean, and it came, Jack, from you, and I was just going like,
what is he on?
What's wrong with this guy?
But then I said, this is from Paul.
It didn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense.
It made no sense.
I didn't know how else to send that.
I was kind of going, oh,
what's wrong with him?
Jack has been inhaling paint fumes.
Not yet.
No. Or maybe this is what happens when Jack doesn't drink.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
aneurysms.
Yeah, we're live, by the way. I hope you guys are okay with that.
The whole time?
Talking about your text, and all those things you said about that pizza parlor and Hillary Clinton.
Massage.
Yeah, but hey, before we begin, let's talk about some of our friends. All links available at packfiller.com. Well, some of you might find that hard to access because we're working on a brand new updated site to be launched very soon. If you run into an error message, please be patient. Or simply find the show on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you happen to find your podcasts, or YouTube, where you might be watching us right now. Obviously, that's still up and running. So Gooder Sunglasses, people. You know when I said they were coming up with new models at a steady stream? Holy shit. Do I have a new design to get excited about? I think Jackson and I might be the only people who've seen this design. It's very cycling shades kind of a look, right?
It is. It's cool. I'm excited to get my hands on a pair.
Yeah. There have been glimpses out there at Sea Otter. This is where they debuted the new one. They're very much more cycling looking, I guess we could say. They're putting out those massively available to be soon. Get to gooder.com today to check out all they have to offer. Holy shit, I'm doing poorly on my reads today. We will also be hosting a special giveaway and offer with our new site launch. Yahoo Fitness, people. Wahoo's got it all. Computers, trainers, heart rate monitors, system training plans. They also create plans that can be done outside and also on their new rollers, by the way. So be sure to check out all Wahoo has to offer to keep you rolling. Ambassador Cycling, folks, get fit. Your body will thank you. You do know that you don't have to feel like total crap every time you ride, right? Many issues you think are just due to fitness might be actually because you have a poor bike fit. AmbassadorCycling.com. Today is where Sam will set you straight. Finally, fellow products. You do know that coffee is the best thing since beer, right? I ask a lot of questions in my reads, but Fellow lets you prepare your coffee the way it and you deserve. Beautiful products that you don't have to hide, and I truly just paid full price, so don't think this is some kind of a gravy train with biscuit wheels. I just ordered a pour over brewing system that's going to be gorgeous, black glass carafe and all that kind of stuff that I can't wait to see. No more messy French press cleanup. Use the link at packfiller.com. So there's that. Let's do this. The Church of Pave has opened. Is SD Works not on the women's site?
No.
Again?
They are.
We don't.
Where?
They're on the far right. Middle.
Right there.
Oh, God. I'm just like fucking going around in circles. I should wear my glasses.
And not talk.
When?
The show is progressing.
Right now?
We are all here Holy Week. No, literally. It's the Catholic as well as the cyclist Holy Week. The week before Roubaix. Oh, and Easter if you're into that sort of thing. I'm Pat Bulger. This is the Packfiller Podcast. I am both a Catholic and a cyclist. That makes it a guarantee for ham and Roubaix on Sunday. Which is...
Fish on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can... I'm Mediterranean diet. You can eat some interesting fish.
Yep.
Welcome to the Packfiller Podcast. We are live on YouTube. With me is the full panel. Gentlemen, please respond to your intro with something your significant other that either drives you insane or is kind of cute. Jack's eyes got the size of dinner plates when I said drive you insane. You could bail out and say kind of cute. Something that's kind of cute. Adorable. Right? Everybody ready? I see 2.5 guys terrified for their marriage. These I don't make the questions up. They just come to me. They're sent to me, and we have to do what the listener wants.
All right.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I am. Here's my introduction. I'm contemplating the return of the stash for a very important reason. I brewed 15 gallons of beverages on Sunday that are all behind you guys as we speak, and I'm officially working on my core. I'm Pat Bulger, and something that drives me crazy about my wife is her side of the bathroom is a disaster. Number one, her side of the bathroom is a disaster. Number two, I'm going to say this, that she told me it was okay to say this. She farmer blows in the shower. Is that okay?
Yeah,
is that
Snot Rockets?
Yeah.
Farmer
In the
blows.
shower. Jackson's face looked a little like, ew. That was my mother?
My wife does too. Never crossed my mind.
Do you pee in the shower?
I don't pee in the shower.
Who pees in the shower?
I do.
What's wrong with you? Oh, you pee your
don't.
pants
I
on
pee
a ride.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you pee in the shower,
You don't
Jackson?
pee in the shower?
I don't pee in the shower.
I feel like you're lying.
I don't pee in
I
the shower.
definitely
Yeah.
do.
You
Yeah.
pee in the shower?
Yeah.
All these years you've been peeing in my fucking shower.
Oh no, it's sterile.
Yeah.
It's all pipes, you know. It's just
He's
pipes.
What are you gonna drink through the shower water? No.
He's gonna keep the pipes clean.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Do you
good thing we
snot
didn't-
rocket in the shower?
Oh yeah.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No.
I inhale.
No.
Sometimes when I'm working really dusty conditions, I will snort water in the shower. You ever do
That's
that?
yeah.
And
that's
then
one
what do
thing
you
that-
do
then
with
you
the
go-
water?
And then
You
blow
spit
it
it
back
out.
Yeah.
It
So
doesn't
you-
go all the way into my mouth.
So you do snot rocket in the shower?
Oh yeah.
It's like a naughty potty.
Oh,
So is the wife.
It's like a naughty pint.
No,
So
it's
does your
naughty
wife?
potties, those-
Yeah. Yeah.
She looked at me like I was on crack last night when I was horrified by the fact knowing that she snot rockets in the
You
shower.
are on crack.
Really? Why aren't I enjoying it more?
I know.
God. Okay. Well, see, I broke the.
Yeah.
Wow, we went through the whole fucking theme already, and I revealed mine.
That
So,
bugs you.
It does bother me. It bothers me.
And now you know your son
Who
pees
cleans
in
the
the
shower?
My son's being in the shower.
Technically, I do because I'm peeing in it.
Yeah. You sterilize it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Next, he's back. He's
Next.
full of phlegm, and he ain't contagious. Mr. Palmain, how are you, man? God
All right,
damn.
I'm coming over. I'm getting over it.
Yeah, it's not COVID.
Not
It's
COVID,
just
just
shit.
tested, yeah.
What? God, it sounds like shit.
You
Yeah,
didn't
it's
even take
terrible.
a day off of work, did you?
No, I had my RDO, but it hit me really hard. Like Tuesday, I thought I knew I had to sleep. So that was last Tuesday when I missed the show.
Yeah.
And I punched through the rest of the week, and then Saturday I was in and out of bed the whole time, and Sunday too. So yeah, I went to work Monday, sore throats, congested lungs, lung butter.
How was your ride week? No.
See, there you go. I don't have the answer to that one. Great timing
sad?
too.
You're not going to get out of it. What about your wife? Is either adorable or annoying?
I got one of each.
Oh,
So I'll do with the annoying because we don't have a dishwasher,
okay.
and because I'm still waiting to do a big remodel in the kitchen, and it's just not the time. So anyway, I do the dishes because I was in food service and I have a certain way of making sure it's clean. My wife doesn't do an extremely good job, but I have a way to sort things out. And it's on the right-hand side, and tall stuff go in the back. You don't put tall stuff, so when you reach to grab something to clean, you're knocking glasses over. And I've gone 27 years, and I like the silverware in the sink so that's constantly being rinsed. And so that
You're
Still
fucked
to this
when
day.
you get a dishwasher. You're fucked when you get a
Well,
dishwasher.
I'll just rinse
because
it and
people
put it in
load the
there.
dishwasher differently.
and
though.
I will load the dishwasher too.
Oh.
You probably
Yeah.
pre-clean. before
She's
you put it
I'm
in the
already
dishwasher.
in the whole dishwasher thing, so
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about her is that when we shop together, no matter what, she won't pick it up because she doesn't like getting statically shocked. So she takes her index finger and spins it around and points like, pick it up, pick it up. It's kind of a game.
I always used to get that shock too.
Yeah.
There were specific grocery stores where I would get it so
Well,
bad. Jackson learned the F word from me pushing him in a cart and getting shocked.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his hair's standing up with static.
Yeah, yeah, it is terrible. Oh, introductions. He's here. He's dry, and his hands are likely dirty. Are they? How are your hands, Jack?
They're bleeding.
Blooding?
I don't know, blooding.
How are you, man?
Good.
So what? Fess up. What is it about your significant other?
There's nothing really that like absolutely annoys me by her. Liar. I would say that she gets frazzled easy, and I don't get frazzled ever. And so we are very different in that sense. But the one, probably the best attribute, or her recovery is really excellent. So she may be broken down in tears. She's proven there's tears in construction. I never thought there was tears in construction, but there are tears in construction. I keep telling her there's no tears in construction. Yeah. But you can hug it out. Like, I mean, literally change it 180 degrees in seconds.
Just that long, slow hug.
A long, slow hug, like, reset. Yeah. The other thing that's pretty cute is she adapts to my, like, things I've done my whole life. Does anybody here honk in the Washington Tunnel? Every time you go through the Washington Tunnel?
No.
I don't really go through it that much.
Fucking A. Fuck.
It's kind of childish, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, now she
honks. That's kind of funny, though.
Now she honks when she goes through it. But so did we lose that? We did it our whole lives.
Never had that tradition.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You drove Division.
What, are you judging me by which street I go north or south on?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't drive. I don't drive Division.
Do you drive the tunnel?
Drive Division.
Do you go the tunnel?
Fuck, I go. Anyway, he's bearded. He's approaching a birthday, and his style trumps all of us. Mr. Jackson Bolger, how are you, man?
That was a generous introduction. I'm doing well.
Well, you are bearded. You are approaching a birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you're a good-looking dude.
Well, thank you.
Be careful. You're still in the non-legal bound moment.
Yeah, we really got to be careful.
You're still in the
one.
honeymoon, pre-honeymoon.
Yeah. 7 years is the honeymoon. But I think the cute thing that I thought of was
cute. God damn, I'm the only one who did an asshole thing. Well, Paul, you kind of did too.
I did one of each just to balance it out. But go ahead, Jackson. It's about you now.
Sorry. She drinks a lot of things like coffee with both hands.
Like,
really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's very Trump.
Warms your hands up.
Trump did that.
Yeah,
but like
water.
it's
small.
It's not him.
I know.
It's the grip was not there. But like she like kind of like savors it when she drinks.
Oh, like that. Oh fuck, this is good.
Yeah, like everything's a warm,
like
cocoa.
a cup of hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something that came to mind.
That's cute.
I guess that's cute.
Yeah. Nothing annoying.
I mean, that's something to keep here.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell anybody.
He's smarter than we are.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, my wife and I spoke about the Snot Rockets last night, and I was like, "I'm bringing this up on the show," and she said, "Bring it up on the show. Fine, bring it up, motherfucker." And I said, "Okay, I will." And
now she's gonna leave one for you right in the
after she shuts the shower off, just like.
Put it right on the handles.
I was thinking I stand in the showers. Whoa! Yeah, fall. Break my hip. Anybody got anything exciting to talk about their riding life? I know 50% probably don't. Jack, have you been doing anything?
Just inside still. Same as last week. It was a short week since Thursday.
It was, yeah.
We did so I've only gotten 3 rides. Nothing on the weekends. I just am.
That's not bad
on the
though.
Weekends.
3 rides isn't
sitting
bad.
on my trainer.
And working your ass off.
But I'm losing weight.
Days.
Not.
It's
not
boots.
drinking.
It's not drinking.
It's those.
I'm down to one. Last time I weighed myself was like 172.5. So I started at 178. In fact,
Are you catching me?
She said it was written down that I was 180, but that was I don't know, January, I guess.
You know how much I'd kill to be 180? Honestly, if you brought a goat in here, I would kill it to be 180.
It was kind of satanic, really.
Wow.
It just popped into my head and I ran with it. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Come here, you little fucker.
Yeah.
Grab him by the horns and never mind.
So.
Oh, Paul, you haven't ridden because you've been sick as a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Jackson, how's your riding been?
Good. Since Thursday, I just did the one we did on the weekend.
Sure.
Which we had 2 of the teammates, both the Waples, with us.
Yeah.
which was fun.
I almost want to call them the Waples twins because they basically speak for each other. But,
yeah, they do. But it was a good ride. It wasn't long, which I was happy about. We'd been doing a lot of long miles lately. It did hail/snow on us twice.
Yeah,
which sucked.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was harsh,
Beautiful.
but we did it, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that felt really good. The total of spring break week, teacher bonus. I got 5 rides in. I started speed work. Did a little bit of that, and I started this leg and core challenges. I was watching, and it inspired me. And I'm going to talk about the competition, which isn't a competition; it's bullshit. GCN. I was watching a GCN video where one of the guys did 1,000 leg squats in 30 days, and he was doing it with a 20-pound kettlebell. And I'm like, I have the weights, but I want to be able to do it throughout the day and stuff like that. So I found one off of darebee.com. I've talked about this on the show before, and I've talked about this on Galloway's show. 10,000 squats in 30 days. 10,000 in 30 days. And I started it Sunday. And so like today I had to do 260, but I spaced it throughout the day. So it's not so bad. And I also did this 30-day core jump start. So I've got to do a plank, I got to do push-ups, and I've got to do, when you're in a plank and you raise your arms out in front of you, kind of bullshit.
On the opposite leg.
Yeah.
Aquaman? Is that what?
Aquaman with both hands, and you can't defy gravity, Jack.
Yeah, and your legs.
Yeah. And you go like, my ability to talk to fish has no effect on him. And Batman rolls his eyes. No, and so it's, I realized how horrible my upper body is when I'm like, these first couple days are like, do 6 push-ups. And those 6, my shoulders hurt just doing them. Like, not like muscular hurt, but it's like, I'm like, holy shit. This is why my neck and my back hurt when I finish really long rides. So I'm doing it. There we go. Do you guys have any? For your training plans and stuff like that, what do you do this time of year to get race ready? Are there any kind of sprint or interval workouts? I know, Paul, you have a brutal speed work thing that you do. You do a motor pacing workout.
Yeah.
That is just evil.
But my motor pacer's going to England.
Oh,
so
You got some neighbor kid?
yeah, get some neighbor kid.
Come here.
Hey, hop on my wife's scooter. Come back. Where you going?
He's like, later, old man.
Yeah. Flip me off too.
What is it though? Are you willing to share?
Yeah,
the workout?
it's just when you motor pace, I try and do it for about at least an hour and a half, depending on the terrain. It's hard to get like good flat sections. So, but we used to go in the past. We just down by the Spokane River.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to the 7 Mile Bridge and back, and just like 2 times.
Oh,
and so I would do like as soon as it warmed up, about halfway down, I would jump, and she'd maintain speed like 27 to 28 miles an hour. And it doesn't take long because it's kind of still.
It is
not
rolling.
flat.
It's very
and then
rolling.
trying to get on.
Yeah.
It's the getting on and recovery that's
yeah.
Kills you, and then that's what you got to have. And so I would do that. Do like a 2-minute, break behind it. Then she gooses up to 30, and then.
So she knows the routine.
Yeah, I do thumbs up, and then
Wow.
Right. Sometimes it's probably around 30, but where I can manage behind her and feel like a decent draft, and then jump, and then trying. The hardest part again is you hit anaerobic pegged, and then you're like, I got to get on.
Yeah.
And it does wonders. I mean.
So in the very near future, she's going to be going, hey, load these dishes, bitch. And she's going to be hitting the throttle. And the next thing you know, you're going to be just suffering for almighty hell. I do that same loop, but I sprint on every hill. Jackson knows that workout, where I just, every hill, I just go full gas and then sprint about 50 yards over the top just to try and get that, any kind of speed work I can. That usually ends up being anywhere between 5 and 7 sprints. And I remember Eddie B back in the day telling me, Boosh, 7 to 9 sprints per workout, kind of a thing like that. Junior, stop crying.
Stop crying.
Stop crying.
Stop crying.
Pit. Any of you guys, do you got any secrets up your sleeve, or Jack's just
God,
like
the
whatever
motor pacing thing-
Zwift tells me to do?
Yeah.
You don't have Zwift. Never mind. Sorry.
No, that motor pacing workout though is, I mean, more defined than the last time I had it. I had a scooter, last time I seriously bike raced, and had a buddy, a good friend of mine, that would take me out, and it's really
It's race pace and
it's race
hard.
pace. It's it's that getting back on thing is invaluable.
Yeah. Remember, have you guys ever ridden a moto with a roller on the back?
No.
On
See,
the
we had
track.
that. We had that at the training center back in
Yeah.
the day, where Andrzej Mojaleski,
I think that's right.
Well, yeah, he would always drive it, and we would just you're on the road, and you could just
Yeah.
bump up against the thing. It had a
Yeah.
roller, so your front wheel
That's
would
kind
never.
of cool.
Yeah, and it was you felt you could almost do it with your eyes closed because you never worried about riding off the
Oh, I have kind of a funny story. A guy that when we had the team Great Harvest, I think it was about 92. This guy called Hater. He got somebody
Hater?
to drive it. Hater.
Oh, okay.
Because he hated everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We rode with a guy who screamed profanity at somebody kind of randomly the other day. That was Hater. Hater was just
Really?
like that. They're a mirror image. But anyway.
Oh,
but
really?
but
Okay.
he's not Hater. So Hater had this wife. Her name was Bean. That was her nickname. She worked down at a coffee shop.
Okay.
Bean. Four
Yeah.
Seasons.
Yeah.
And so he says, "I need to borrow your car." And it was a Honda Accord hatchback, and he took a broomstick and literally cut the broomstick off to hold the hatch up. And we got behind it. I can't remember who was driving. And we would get so close, our tires burn holes on the bumper.
Oh shit!
And
you
brought it
borrowed
back.
this car.
Yeah, brought it back. Yeah, I mean there was huge black marks all over. and
Good
dents on
times.
that,
Yeah, basically vandalizing somebody else's
Yeah.
equipment. Right, but well,
But yeah, that's as close
statute
as,
of limitations. You're okay though. So.
yeah. They broke up soon after.
Well, yeah.
But the thing is that's as close as I've had with a roller. We had somebody's bumper.
Just somebody's bumper.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'd crash.
You could just sit there and go,
Oh,
slide
yeah.
down. So it was a metallic light blue, but not the bumper. It was just a straight
It's
line
black.
of black.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh my God! Hey, before we check the headlines, I want to take a short moment to mention, and this I'm glad we all still have a little bit in our glasses. This happened. I think it happened before our last show, but I didn't mention it. I didn't know Richard Moore. I don't know if you guys know who Richard Moore was.
Never met him.
Or is. Yeah.
But I'm very familiar.
Great in cycling journalism field, as well as the host and creator of the Cycling Podcast. I believe that all podcasts should be friends and his work, he continues to be the standard of cycling journalism and podcasting. He was and still is. So his passing leaves a big hole in a whole lot of hearts, and to them and to Richard's family, I just want to raise a toast to a
Richard.
lost member of the group.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So let's.
I believe he wrote "Slaying the Badger."
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
I did
I'll have
not
to
know.
check that.
See,
But
yeah,
See, you
'cause
should
I don't-
read that,
I don't
'cause
know.
that's like your guy.
I've seen the film. I mean, I've seen the film, but I have not read the book.
yeah.
So yeah.
And he wrote another one about. Well, anyway.
No.
Yeah.
And yeah. So shit. Where's my news headline? I always see. I've got a.
Can you color code them to help
Well,
you?
they are color coded. I just need to put them in
Some sort of
alphabetical order.
The Dewey Decimal System, something like that.
2 decimal system.
still use that?
Who goes to the library?
Yep.
Oh, well.
He does.
Somebody does. Yeah.
I was the TA in high school for the librarian, so
Were you?
I didn't know how it worked, so I just started putting books.
Oh, that's
I
no
thought
good.
I
You
knew how
must
it
have-
worked. I
you
thought I
must
knew
have
how it
drove
worked.
her crazy.
So I was just like, oh, this is how it works, right? No, no clue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
The
Just
first series of
randomly
number
pushing all over the
goes
place.
in. It's
Yeah.
the topic, whether it's
Yeah, well.
fiction or nonfiction, and historical or
Well, they can figure that out.
There's these lost books, but no,
now there's Google.
Just look it up. Google Translate. I don't need to take no foreign languages. That pisses me off watching cyclists switch from language to language to language.
So
and then I'm going, I'm a
comfortably.
dumb
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
I wish our country was. Anyway. Hey, stories, news, headlines. This one's just for Paul. Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks.
Hugo Hofstetter left with a huge cut in his ear after a dramatic crash at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Questions safety of disc brakes. The French pro came down on the wet and wild force stage of the Circuit de la Sarthe last week and fell into a wheel, leaving him cut with an requiring immediate surgery. Words are hard today. He posted an image of the deep gash onto his helmet this weekend and resurfaced the long rumbling debate over the safety of disc brakes in the peloton. And his quote said, "When will there be covers for the discs in UCI cycling? I would have avoided 35 stitches in my ear," he wrote on Twitter. Is it time to seriously consider some disc brake advances, proper brake spacing for the wheel changes, cover to protect riders, everything like that? And we're our topic tonight's going to be kind of covering some of these things, but has anybody ever seen anything like this in their lives of riding bikes? Has anybody? I mean, we haven't been in a lot of mass start races.
chain rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
That was the first thing that came to my mind. It's like,
We should do some chain ring guards
and
and ear covers.
after a while, it's like, why don't we just ride in like rubber bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can.
it's gonna like
Gumby.
he also could have fallen and broken his collarbone.
Yeah. We don't. Yeah. I think obviously I'm a proponent for rim brakes just for the simplicity of it all.
Yeah.
But I myself have been a victim of a chain ring in a crit, which I don't understand.
Yours or somebody else's?
No, a chain ring went up my calf.
Ow.
Yeah. So, which was strange because we're in a crit and it's like he had it in a small ring. Otherwise, the chain would have protected it. It was this big ring that
That's
cast down.
a great point.
So that's usually why you don't see that often. But usually
Somebody did that
you do.
on purpose.
No, he was.
Here comes Paul. I'm gonna crash into him and shit down to my chain.
Fuck you, Paul.
A
He
guy
probably,
did
he probably
sweep
did
the,
a wheelie before just to get that chain ring
yeah,
right up.
that's
the
right.
calf.
That was in the middle of a crash. This guy
What is this, Mad Max?
attacked going up a hill on the crit. It was a short little punchy climb, and the guy must have shifted in his small ring. We had 2 laps to go, and he, this guy got tired. The guy who made the jump started too big of a gear, and then thought the pack was to his right, moved left, and swept the field. And
Was
down
it
goes the
Karsten?
guy. No.
Just kidding.
Obviously watched
Sorry, Karsten.
Karsten's style, and
that's
then
good, Chris.
so this guy came.
Jack with the quote of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just more of a puncture wound than anything else, but it went up my calf muscle. So those anyway. Getting back to this thing.
Yeah.
That's the safety issue is not. I mean, it's important, but obviously rim brakes wouldn't have done that. But there's other things on a bike that could.
Like your
hurt you.
cable end on a rim brake. It might poke you out, poke your eye out.
Poke your eye out.
Damn right.
Even getting
But
down to
barring
bladed
on
spokes.
in a crash, have you ever been hit by end of a handlebar?
Yeah.
That's why you have to
Yeah.
have a bar cap because you're going to get a core sample
Cork it
outside.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can't. I don't know if it's ever happened, but when you crash, those things can pop off, and then
Yep.
So there's a lot of danger. This is not a safe sport by any means. But it's putting a frickin' cover on. Can you imagine
that'll
wheel
look good.
changes? So
Well, if it just covers the top of the ring, kind of like a Schwinn
Chain guard.
bicycle chain guard.
And they've been working on that, and I think disc brakes have to progress. I mean, and I think
Hold
believe me,
these thoughts because this is
All
our
right,
topic
all
that
right.
we're going to get to
Okay.
later on.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Second story, by the way, Michael Kwiatkowski beat French rider Benoit Croissanfoy. I'm so
That
bad
was
with
pretty
words
good.
tonight. By only a few centimeters at Sunday's Amstel Gold Race, and it was all because of a great bike throw. In fact, you could argue it wasn't even his great bike throw. This is according to Velo News, but Croissanfoy's lousy one. Now, I'm quoting from prepared script by our friends at Velo News. For 3 minutes, it looked like the Frenchman had triumphed on Sunday's Amstel Gold Race for the first time in 41 years that a French rider would have won it. He celebrated thinking he had beaten Kwiatkowski in a sprint for the title, but the finished photo revealed that, in fact, it was the opposite. Interesting final sprint. Very interesting final sprint. Almost like a replay of what we saw in Flanders, where you've got these two away and this waiting moments and things like that. Someone told Cosnefroy that he had won, but he was obviously destroyed to find out. And oh my God, I don't know about you guys, but my heart broke seeing that elation and then deflation after it of what went on. And his bike throw was quite terrible as far as it goes.
Wasn't it late?
Super late.
Yeah.
Like Kwiatkowski. Timed it very well. Yeah. So let's talk about Amstel. Paul, we didn't get your picks on it, but you could say I picked Kwiatkowski.
I told Jack.
In a text he picked Benoit.
You did not.
Yes, he did. I got the text. He's like,
but he didn't win, so it doesn't
he didn't
matter.
Get it right.
Good point.
Well,
good point.
And I can't remember if you kind of threw out 3, but you said your dark horse guy.
Because he's been up there, and that was what kind of like, and same with my Roubaix.
Because I mentioned Mahoric, and you said, well, this other guy, and then I congratulate him. He really did. He really did.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, but
I was thinking about it too. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't even on my radar. How do you? Oh, you guys are better than me.
I watch way too much TV.
I'm the guy who doesn't know who Leo Wilcox was.
You won't let that go.
I'm not going to let it go, and I got to quit reading reviews. By the way, if you post your review on iTunes, I'll read it.
It'll live forever.
And it'll stick in my head forever, and I'll find out your name, and I'll come to your fucking house. No,
wow.
So, surprises or revelations or anything like that you guys have from that experience from watching the race?
Yeah, I thought it was exciting. I was really impressed with how Ineos rode. Obviously, we all know Tom Pidcock had that one time where it looked like he was chasing down his teammate.
Yeah, but we were talking about this before the show. Yeah,
I think, like barring that moment, he rode very well for Kwiatkowski, especially getting in those, just breaking up a lot of the flow. Like Van der Poel would go and he'd be right on the wheel and just break it up, and it would just it couldn't come back. And I was saying before we started that if that breakaway hadn't have happened, I saw Pidcock winning that race with how strong he was, and I could tell that Van der Poel was definitely like a little tired from his efforts over the previous weekend. And part of me wondered if he was saving it for what's to come this weekend. But Pidcock looked the best he'd ever looked, and I'm really interested to see him at is it Brabants de Peel tomorrow? Yeah. I wonder if
is that tomorrow?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I didn't print those out.
But I wonder if he'll do the double, because he looked really good over the weekend, and I was really happy to see him come back from what had been a pretty poor race season so far.
Yeah, he's been sick and just all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a devil's flu running through the peloton right now. It's just absolutely, as Paul coughs. Yeah, no, you can cough all you need to, man. Yeah, if the listeners don't like it, they can fucking find another podcast. I'm defensive tonight.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm on edge.
What's wrong?
Don't fuck with me.
Do you need a massage?
I might. God, not from you though. Your hands are gross.
I know.
They're all peeled and bloody, bleedy. Is that what you said?
It's bleeding.
Revelations or anything you guys took away from
I'll bounce off of here. To me, Pidcock this is a year where I started thinking between the 3 cyclocross riders last year, everybody's like, this must be it, because those 3 are the shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at Van der Poel and Wout. Those 2 didn't race into like the World Championships, and they're doing better. And I think that some of it was kind of like he's kind of spent. And some of his quotes in front of the media, and it might be his age, and I'm not going to hold it against him or anything, but it's just like, oh, come on, guy. like he mentioned about Tej Benut, not Tej, but Pogačar.
Yeah.
Where on the first set of cobbles and cobble race that he did on that Wednesday, his comment was, well, he just doesn't understand the tactics. Pogačar doesn't understand the tactics of cobble racing. Well, the next, here in Flanders, 4 days later, and where's Pidcock? He's 17th place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he's a fast learner, I guess. And then his move with about 18K to go to chase down his teammate. I think he really was the guy to win, and I think that's
he was confused. Jackson and I were saying, it's like somebody's like, stop.
Yeah, and I think what happened is, if you look at the breakaway, Kwiatkowski when they went through the lap with 1 lap to go, everybody's watching each other, so he rolled out, and it was a good move because they were working for Pidcock.
Yeah.
But no one went with them, so what do? You're trying to draw out a little bit, so everybody has to chase. You want to kind of do that because they were the only ones that had 2 up on that break. Because if somebody does that to them, then they're going to be responsible to chase it down. So I thought, this is a good move. Yeah. And I'm thinking, this is a good move. And then up that hill, I'm going, what the heck? Because he closed the door down on those. And you almost dragged up, what's his name from Bahrain that almost bridged?
Dylan Toynes.
Yeah, Dylan Toynes. Yeah. He just ran out of gas. And I'm like, that could have been totally disastrous. So, and then with the photo finish, his comment in the press, he goes, well, I'm glad it turned out the way it is. I'm paraphrasing. And he says that Ineos would have been flicked twice about the finish, referring to last year with Wout. And it's like, you got to let some of that stuff go. You can't. So I've lost that, but he's young. And we've talked about young riders like Quinn Simmons and Chloe Dygard making foolish statements.
Well, and you got to. I mean, I can go back as on a much milder scale about Cavendish, and some of the shit. Yeah, or Peter Sagan grabbing a woman's ass at the podium.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that these guys have done that were fucking stupid, And so, I guess the privileges of youth.
Well, that trying to bridge up.
Not privilege. Not privilege. Sorry, but idiocy of youth.
When you try to bridge up, I'm like, that is youth thinking. I think he really thought he was stronger than he was.
Yeah.
And when he turned around, who was it? I think it was even. No, it wasn't Evander. It was somebody else. Kostafa.
Yeah.
I think that's who it was. And look what happened. So, anyway.
Is anybody else mildly impressed by the size of that beer that they hand at the podium?
It's huge.
It's awesome.
But is it awesome or is it just a sad waste?
Did he throw it on the crowd?
No, what are you doing?
The
thing is like a bear hug.
Yeah,
both
he takes it back to the bus, and they just...
Everybody want a community sip from this drink while a rabid flu is infecting the peloton?
Yeah, likely.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know if you saw, but they gave like just a pint
and they
to
all
the other
downed
guys.
It.
Well, not Tej. Tej Benut didn't. He took a sip and set it down.
Oh,
and it was like
the other two were
the other two. They chugged. They raised it like this is another photo finish.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, Benut didn't do that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had Amstel?
Oh,
he's like, give me a Belgian beer. I would have chugged that big one.
But Amstel's light. It's tap water. It's easy to go down.
Yeah,
I've had it in Amsterdam.
It's probably what would be a good beer mile beer.
Yeah.
Nice light beer.
I had a cycling beer mile on the schedule.
When are we doing it?
But it's got to be done on trainers, though. You can't do it outside. You die.
That's not true.
30 miles an hour. Hey, I had 4 beers.
Who's doing 30 miles per hour?
We'll do it up at Hartfield on the track.
I'm fucking fast, Jack. Hey, let's address the big dog, shall we? A little overdue, but all important. Perhaps more important than going to church on Sunday. Let's cue the lightning. Perry, Roubaix is happening this weekend. Paul, God, you put the headphones on the mic, and it is like thunder. And that was when I said cue the lightning, so it was almost perfectly timed. Paul, for someone who not fully in the know, has been to Paris-Roubaix. So for somebody who's not fully in the know, somebody who is listening to this show just because they had something going on in their lives and they randomly picked a podcast, could you introduce us and give us a perspective of Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah, I kind of wrote a little longer than I thought I should.
No, that's good. Please
anyway.
do. But dude, you're the guy who you have carte blanche on this one.
Yeah, I love Paris-Roubaix, and you made a comment last show that Flanders was my favorite.
I did.
And
was I wrong?
Yeah, Roubaix. That was like my first child. Now, I love Flanders. I love them both the same, but it's kind of like your kids. Well, you only had one, so it was easy. But there's just one that's just
Then I found out he peed in the shower.
I know. Now it's really...
Yeah.
If
Well,
you had
welcome,
another
your pipes
kid...
are clean.
Yeah.
Sanitized.
Anyway, so this is the race that I got interested in 1984 when CBS did their little John Tesh thing.
Yeah.
And that's what hooked me. So, and then I went out and bought a bike, and now I'm sitting here 36 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
So 38 years. So anyway, it started in 1896. These two guys that lived in Roubaix, they built this velodrome, and they thought, well, let's do... I mean, the velodrome actually hosted some events, and even Major Taylor raced in it. So
Shit.
It's not the one that they finish in now, but anyway. And I'm going to butcher the name. Theodore Vene and Maurice Perez were their names.
Yeah.
So in that time period, they approached to try and do a race from Paris to Roubaix to and they finished on the velodrome. And they made a pitch to the organizers of the Tour de France and saying, hey, this will be a warm-up race for Bordeaux to Paris. And that was a big thing back then, which is no longer around.
Yeah. Bordeaux, Paris.
There's the irony there. Yeah. So anyway, so they said there would be a prize list to the winner of 1,000 French francs. And that's the same amount, because that's a mining country around there. It's the same amount of money that a miner makes in 7 months.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So that's kind of cool stuff. I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, I dug up. So anyway, they talked this guy, Victor Beyer, to come and visit, and they're going to give him the route. And so he went. The first day traveled. I don't know how, he must have been by car, and decided to ride the rest of the route. And so I don't know if he brought a bike or he borrowed a bike. He started riding. And on that day, they were supposed to meet in Roubaix to talk about the possibility. Well, it starts raining, and the temperature drops, and the wind's blowing. And he got there, and he says, no freaking way. I'm sending a telegram to the organizers. Do not put this race on. They said, wait. They said, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. They started feeding him, they got him drunk. And he went, okay, thumbs up. And that's how he got started. So,
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it got
See,
started.
there we go. There we
So-
go. There we
He
go.
lost 3 fingers on that.
Yeah, frostbite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
33 sections of cobbles. Am I correct in it?
I
might be off.
I think
I know
there's
my article.
there's 30
Yeah.
or 31 now.
Yeah.
I forgot to check the route changes every once in a
Okay.
while. So
Okay.
so real quickly, the big 5-star ones, Forster Amberg, and I think that was in 60. I can't remember, 67 or something. They brought that in. Monson van Vapel and Carrefour de l'Arabe. Those are the big sectors that are brutal and usually have a big. The Forster Amberg is usually too early in the race. It's about 90K typically.
Yeah.
And so, but you can really do some damage, and then you're not going to finish. The other thing is the cool thing about that on that finish, they have showers inside. It's unique of any race. There's showers in the velodrome, and every winner has a plaque, and everybody goes in and showers, and it's a famous. People take pictures of the guys all brutally crash or whatever and dirty, and
Muddy,
they wash off, and so that's
Yet they
something to
keep
look
it. They keep it G-rated. So
yeah. And so I did want to hit a couple of highlights in the recent history about people's take and some of the mishaps in the
Yeah.
Paris-Roubaix. So in '81, Bernard Hinault called it a bullshit race. He was in the World Championship jersey. He says, "I will race and win it," and he did, and that was it. He didn't want to
Crashed
race it
into
again.
a dog.
Yeah,
Same
dog
day.
took him out in the corner. Yeah.
But he got up and won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Such a tough rider.
He's like a badger or something.
Black poodle.
He's kind of like a badger. Remember when he crashed in the Tour de France? He's bleeding down the head.
Yeah.
So my favorite in '88, Dirk de Mol, who is now a director for Israel. What's
Startup.
Israel Startup.
No, it's not Startup.
Israel Premier Tech.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackson.
So anyway, he was on ADR, which at that time in '88 was small. He did the last race he did. He really didn't get any favors from anybody. The team forgot to register him. He got like on the podium or third or fourth place, and they said nope, you weren't registered, and so he was out. And he wasn't even supposed to race Paris-Roubaix, and they told him like 2-3 days, oh, you're on the race, and so he's supposed to cover the brakes. And Thomas the Tank Wegmuller, which is notorious for long, that guy could grind a gear like forever. They just whittled down the pack, went down, and it was just the two of them. And this is a year they didn't finish in the velodrome, and a plastic bag went into Wegmuller's rear derailleur, and he couldn't finish. And
which is on Old Guys Watching Races, a video on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You and I watched it and
Dismount.
analyzed the entire race.
Mm-hmm.
Was Dismount with us?
Yeah, Dismount.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then real quick, another quick kind of goofy thing. In 1985, there's a guy named Theo DeRoy. You interviewed.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize he was famous for this in the U.S. CBS was covering it in 1985. And he was in the early break, and he finally crashed.
Look back and find this episode.
Yeah,
you
it
guys,
is
if
good.
you're listening.
He's a
It was a
great
fun
guy.
talk with Theo.
Yeah. And he found out that he became popular after this is when he met this guy, this American. He says, I named my dog Theo after you. And he goes, why? I was like, what you said in Paris-Roubaix. And what it was is he crashed out. He was just totally thrashed. And so his quote was about CBS came up to him because they saw him pull out. And they said, Theo, how's it out there? And he says, it's bullocks this race. He says, you're working like an animal. You don't even have time to piss. You wet your pants. You ride in mud like this. It's a pile of shit. And they said, well, are you going to come back? And he says, sure. It's the most beautiful race in the world. So,
and then he starts laughing with
and
this dark, horrible cough of just dust and hell. So,
and that's
wow.
Yeah, look up that interview. He was a great guy.
Has Jackson, as somebody who's grown into the sport, I mean, and I know that, you know, I don't know if I should apologize or not for doing this to you, but I mean, there was always this Sunday in April where Dad was an idiot and got up at 5 a.m. or something like that and was watching stuff and was yelling at everybody to shut up and stuff like that. Does this race have any of the romanticized meaning to you? I remember when we were talking earlier about the fact that we all have kind of our favorites. You were saying the Strada Bianca is your favorite. Is there any of that myth or romanticized nature that is rubbed off on you?
Well, the reason why I mentioned like Strada Bianca being my favorite is because of like the time that it that it connected with. And it was like it was like when COVID came back, or when COVID like really hit, and then like Strada Bianca was the first one. I remember waking up and watching it like when like super early. I forget when it was, but that's why that one has like a very specific meaning to me. And with this one, it's I always know it as like your favorite, for instance, Dad. But I am like still connecting to it on like a personal level because I've had so few opportunities to really watch it.
Good point. Yeah.
But I think it's a really cool race, and I'll always remember last year's version as the first ever version I like fully sat down and watched, because I was saying today to my girlfriend that it was like I started that race and I never fast forwarded. I always fast forward races. But last year I never did. I never touched the remote. I watched the whole thing.
Wow.
And I loved watching the whole thing. I even did that with the women's race too. And not to say that I would like fast forward the women's race just because it's a women's race, but you get what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah. Both races were just like sit down and watch the whole thing. So I think that will have a significant impact on me as time goes on.
Either you guys have this Paul, you were saying it's your favorite, and it is because of what? Is it the fans? Is it the environment? Is it the course? Is it the holy grail nature of it?
I think it's unique. There's no other race like it. Of course, what appealed to me in 1984 was it's so brutal. 84, Sean Kelly won, and just the weather conditions and everything play a big thing on it. But you can feel, I don't know, even resonating from the TV was the passion that not only the riders but the people on the side of the road, and the history is a huge, huge thing. And I don't know if a lot of people call it the Hell of the North, and that name was after World War I, because they looked at the course and it was all shelled and there was still trenches from the war, and they said this is hell, and that's how I got the name. So, I mean, there's blood in that soil from wars, and it's. I think Arnberg Forest, I think I'm correct, was laid down that cobblestone for Napoleon's army.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, so it's so steep in history. It is unique, and I think winners can crash and flat 3 or 4 or 5 times, and still you never quit on that race because you never know what's going to happen, and that's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that the winner is untouched.
Yeah.
Something happened in the race, and they still won the race.
I think Roger de Vlaminck, who won 4 times, only flatted once in this whole time.
Really?
Sonny Cabrelli was pretty fortunate last year, too.
Yeah. Ghana was not.
No. The entire... I don't... Well, the weather is apparently saying long range forecast suggests a sunny day of around 64 degrees Fahrenheit, only a little bit of breeze. So we're going from one extreme to another from last year to this year. I think last year's edition is one is unlike we will see for a very long time again. Just that horrible weather. I mean, freaking October, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't do that.
Yeah.
But what an absolutely brilliant edition last year's was, and it truly brought the women's race to the forefront.
Yeah.
I mean, what an epic edition last year's women's race was. Before I get to talking about individual riders, I guess. And this is from our friends at Cycling Tips, talking about when you would want to watch it, and it's so fascinating. Paul, you're always the guy who go like, all right, when should I get up?
Yeah.
And so to catch every single cobblestone sector, you will want to tune in around 1:25 local time, or that's 4:25 a.m. where we live, or 7:25 Eastern. That's when the peloton is expected to reach sector 30.
Yeah, so it is 30, and that's Troisville.
Yeah.
That's their first sector.
There's still 160 to go at that point, but there you go. If you're a little more time poor, or if you want to not get up at 4:25 in the morning, for those of us here on the West Coast, you can probably leave it until Arnberg, and they should get there somewhere around 5:55 a.m. or 2:55 p.m. their local time, 8:55 if you're on the East Coast. And so they say you might want to tune in a few minutes early because you want to see that drive into Arnberg. So 50K to go. They're saying probably around 6:55 a.m. Pacific, 9:55 Eastern. So you do your own math there. But you're a live guy, Paul. You're a live guy. What time are you going to be up?
I'll probably, if I'm recovered, I'll probably 3 o'clock. I'll watch
3 a.m.
Yeah, make sure that I would see what's the breakaways, establish. And then going into Troisville, it's a hard left-hand corner. There's like a massive sprint. It's kind of fun to see and see who's in position. And the team tactics start heating up. But
yeah, I
think for the average bear, you have to watch Arnberg.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do that, I mean, they're coming in hot, like at 45 plus miles an hour. I mean, it's a full-out sprint to get into the cobbles.
Yeah.
So, and that's nasty. I've been there, and there's sections of some of the cobbles are 3-inch difference between, like the stone in front of it. Depending on
Right.
That's why you get on the crown, and it's a little more even. If you get off, that's why you see everybody trying to get right in the center. So,
Jesus. What time did they finish? It seemed late.
Like around 8:30 or so.
What time?
Yeah.
No, their time.
Well,
it would be 8 hours behind, so about 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Are you guys watching live? Jack?
I'll
Jackson?
attempt it.
You'll
Just
attempt
because why not?
I sleep 6 hours on the weeknights, so no.
No, you will not.
No.
And that's not. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah.
I make a point if I know I'm not going to get up. My phone isn't even in the room because everybody's like, "Hey, congratulations, Sonny Colbrelli!" It's like you're fucking Mad Mom 86. Nobody, Sonny doesn't give a fuck about what you're posting. Sorry, this is always something I get upset about.
Yeah, apparently.
It is. It pisses me off that and headline writers. God damn it! If you want us to click to your website, don't click all the information. Don't post all the information in your headline. Sonny Colbrelli wins Paris-Roubaix. That's the worst fucking headline. Did you even pass journalism school, you douche?
It's kind of edgy today.
I'm
Yeah,
pissed.
yeah.
I'm pissed at people who do
You
that.
had to go back to work
I'm
this
pissed
week.
at people who do that.
That's why.
I am. But I'm going to probably try and I'm going to get up about 5:30. I think I'm going to try and catch before Arnberg all the way in and see what happens. So
You can text me if you wondered if you missed anything, because I'll be up.
Yeah.
Say, hey, did anything
Yeah.
vital happen?
I do that sometimes. I'm like, is it over? Or should I go down and watch now? And you were always like, yeah, you should go watch now. It's about to get
60K
exciting.
to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a great way to set it up. Who's covering it for us? This is Peacock, isn't it?
This
This
is
is
ASO.
Peacock.
Yeah.
I
No.
will say, okay, yeah, we might not like Peacock, but it's way better than Flow Bikes has been.
Oh, they suck ass.
It doesn't connect to my speaker. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
Really?
It'll come on, and you know how it like automatically plays whatever like the live thing.
Yeah.
It just like won't connect to the thing. It's
Really?
not really that big a deal to discuss right now, but it just annoys me.
Well, yeah. No, I understand.
When you replay, at least on mine, I think you and I have the same thing, it'll freeze, and I have to push play again. And it's like,
And then you
it's
miss
just
Uh,
like a
minute or two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mine
So
will.
bizarre.
I just don't like the commercials that I'm paying for the subscription. And this time it wasn't Little Caesars. It was a Mercedes commercial that
I'm
popped up
surprised about that. Yeah.
every 10 minutes. It shrinks the screen and goes to a commercial. And I'm like going, I know that's probably not Flow Bikes' fault, but if your subscription service, come on, don't sell, because I've already bought. Jack doesn't give a fuck. Do you have Flow Bikes?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
So you're just getting. By the way, I hear the naughty way is to just get a VPN. and watch Eurosport.
Yep. That's GCN.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, but I don't know how to
You
do
might get
that,
one.
But I'm
Ask
thinking about
the
it.
youngster over there.
Yeah, you know how to. You do?
No, you can
Oh.
subscribe to one though.
Yeah, you just pay a
It's
service, right?
subscribe,
Yeah. So it's internet can't find you. That's why Alexa won't listen to me anymore. Oh, she didn't turn on. Good to hear. Good to see. So let's talk about this, guys. Who's first of all, who's actually going to be there? And before you talk about the names that are who are actually going to be there and who actually you think is going to do what pops out to you guys? Let's talk about the men and the women. Do we want to go with the women first? Let's just randomly look at contenders. And I know it's hard to do because, we get very few glimpses into the women's peloton. I'm going to be honest with this. We get very few glimpses because a lot of it's Amstel. We got the last, 30K, 40K or something like that. And it's hard to kind of get an idea what's going on in that unless you really start to research and pay attention to what a lot of the news outlets are saying. But are there names that pop into your heads that are other than the kind of the normal, the Van Vlutens, the Longo Borghinis, the things like that. Yeah, she's not. But
after she broke her hip her pelvis last time.
Oh
so.
shit! Yeah, I'd run from it like it was on fire. So talk to me about any contenders, outsiders, or things like that before you guys have any picks. Let's start with the women's peloton. Does anybody have anything that you think would? Jackson, you tend to pick Cassie quite a bit, but she hasn't really done a ton yet.
I probably won't go that direction. Another Canyon SRAM rider that is kind of exciting is Tiffany Cromwell, who races a lot of the gravel scene. like in the U.S. domestic scene.
Yeah.
And so she was the leader at Amstel Gold, and she may have been at Flanders as well. But I'd be interested to see how she can ride this weekend, especially knowing that she is one of the higher profile gravel riders. So I'd love to see a name like that end up at the top or near there. I didn't pick her, but I also think that a UAE team would be kind of cool, like Marta Bastianelli, kind of one of those riders, just to see not the norms usually win.
That's what I'm hoping for too. I'd like to see a little bit of a shakeup in terms of how that all goes as per usual. And I'm looking at, obviously, Marianne Vos is going to be on my list, although we haven't seen her break the line first this year. Am I correct? But I'm looking at Lizzie Banks. I'm looking at some of these other riders.
Another person is Clara Hunsinger.
Yeah.
Who is also starting this weekend with her cross background. Maybe she can kind of pull a Wout or a Vanderpoel and kind of show her face as one of the leading cross riders.
Yeah, show that's a positive method that obviously not only works for the guys, but it'll also work for the women. So, anybody else got anything that just kind of stands out to you, or you guys just want to go straight to picks for the women?
Picks, but I'm going to give you a little background why.
Do it.
Okay. So Kopecky, she came off of Flanders looking pretty good. She's Belgian. Another good reason. So no big deal. I think Voss really wanted it last year, and I'm going to drop what I talked to you guys about earlier before in the green room.
Yeah.
That there's a show out there that Specialized did, and it's called Grit and Grace, and you guys should watch it. Anybody listening, take a look at it. And there's a couple episodes, but it's one about the first Paris-Roubaix, and you see Voss chasing. Excuse me, Lizzie. So she was screaming. She was like, and she was coming on hard. I think she really wants this win. She didn't race last weekend. So that's why I think this is the one she's been aiming for, because she's won everything else pretty much. So, might as well. Yeah. But, and then, of course, Chantal Vandenbroek Black, because she did a stellar job at Flanders for Kopecky. So those are my three. I think she's in form, and I think she did well last year too. Yeah. I think she was in the top 10.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Jack, what do you got for me?
Well, at first I was thinking, maybe a 1-2. I don't know why I'm still looking for this. More of that was with maybe Brandt and Van Dyke. But I think I'll go Brandt, Voss, and Vandenbroek Black. So
okay, I'm changing because you guys are all picking Vandenbroek Black, so I'm going to pick somebody different just for fun. Jackson?
Yeah, so I am going to go with Ellen Van Dyke, Marianne Vos, because I agree she does really want the win, and then Lotte Kopecky, who I think has been probably the most on-form classics rider this campaign so far.
So we're all over the place, and so I've been listening to your guys' posts, your picks, and so I scribbled out a lot because I just don't want us all to pick the same one. So I'm picking Clara Hunsinger. I'm picking, of course, Marianne Vos because I'm not an idiot, but I'm also picking Tiffany Cromwell from Canyon SRAM, which I think might be an interesting ride for her. And now that she's, on Canyon SRAM, you got nothing else. You might as well go for it. So I think they haven't had any major big ones this year. So there we go. For the guys, for the dudes.
Wout's on the list. Is he riding or not?
Wout? There are rumors that Wout is going to ride, but in service to somebody else. I don't. That would be very interesting. Again, this is a Tuesday when we're recording this show, and so we're at the mercy of preliminary start lists. We don't have the ability to go 100% for sures, and so that makes it a little difficult for us. But I would say if Wout raced, he would be 100% in support of a Christophe Laporte or Van Hooydonk. Would correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, if you would say one or the other, but you guys seem to be staring at lists and scribbling, so I'm going to pick my three first. I'm going to obviously go with the obvious choice of Mathieu van der Poel, and I'm going to I just want one truly safe pick, and then the other two I'm going to start playing around with. I'm going to go with Alexander Kristoff because Kristoff rode an incredible, Skydeprice, which was just watching him ride off the front. I think Intermarché Wanty-Gobert is going into all these races just going, fuck it, let's just go. Yeah. And I love that mentality, and I love what I'm seeing, and I'd love to see something from Kristoff. I'm probably going to eat my words on that one, but we'll see. And my third pick is I'm going out again on this one, and I'm going to go with Stefan Kung because he has been at the front of every single race this year. And I think he's been at the victim in many cases of team tactics, and Paris-Roubaix sometimes neutralizes that field. It can be luck. It can be just a simple moment of powering away. And that guy has a gas pedal. He can hit it, and he can ride all day at an incredibly high tempo. So I'd love to see Stefan Kung do something there. So those are my picks. Who wants to go next?
So, yeah, Kuhn, that's a good pick. One thing I noticed, there's only 7 riders going.
Yeah. And
Jumbo-Visma has 8 listed. So
yeah,
that kind of shows he might be on the bubble.
I think he is.
They hid Wout's, that's who we were speaking of, Wout's Strava. They shut down his Strava while he was sick.
Yeah.
So that when he was training that people
Maybe he's not sick.
Maybe. I mean, it could be something like that.
They're just trying to set him up for the win.
But I went with, because I think Quick-Step's getting a lot of pressure from Lefebvre. Yeah, he was riding in the car.
He's
now.
at the dinner table now.
Yeah. That's not a good sign. So I went with Askren. He's been there a little bit, and you can't, that guy's amazing. And then forever, until he retires, I will always accept Van Marker. And I hate, holding on hope because Duke LaSalle in 93 was 38 years old when he won Paris-Roubaix. So that could happen. And then my dark horse, like Christopher was last week, Oliver Nason.
You know how much Israel Premier Tech would love something from Sepp Van Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. Because right now they're sitting on a big
And they had to pull out last week.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they're sitting on nothing right now.
Yeah.
Jack or Jackson, who wants to take?
So I'm gonna pick Wout because I think that
you think he's gonna ride.
I think he sat
you think
out
he's
of
faking
Amstel
it.
Gold. I think he's rested and recovered.
I think you're dreaming.
Yep.
Yeah. But you win. You've won most of these picks this year.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know about most.
You have.
I've had some good ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal Jackson's Peter Sagan because I think he's got a.
Jackson's willingly giving him to you.
Yeah.
I thought he was scratched.
Oh well, he's on this list. So
Yeah.
Maybe he's.
No.
Yeah, I thought.
What's
he was
wrong?
out.
What's wrong with him?
He hasn't been feeling well, and he's.
Yeah.
I think he's
last
got
couple
long
of-
COVID. I think he's got long COVID.
There's only 7 riders on that list, and Sagan's one of them, so
Might be it. Yeah.
he might be in there. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stick with him.
Yeah.
Mahoric would be my third. So
Nice.
Oh, okay.
He's strong right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for it. I think that if Wout does attend, his ever so loyal deputy will be alongside him, Christophe Laporte, and I think that Laporte will probably have a better chance of winning than Wout will. With if he was really sick, as sick as he was. My second will be Mathieu van der Poel. I think he was.
So we're all canceling him out, more or less. Well,
I didn't pick him.
Yeah.
I didn't pick
just
him.
you and I.
Yeah, I think he was obviously tired after his Flanders win, but I also think that he was holding back at Amstel. And then he has always been there, and I think Mads Pedersen has a very, very, very strong chance. this time around, especially with how he's been riding this entire.
He's got it in the
season.
tank.
Yeah,
he's got it in the tank. All right, there are our picks. So, I want to kind of go back to a news story to take us into the topic a little bit here. First of all, the topic is brought to us by our friends at Athletic Brewing, home of the best non-alcoholic brews available. As Merrill said it in the Truman Show, trust me, I've tried the others. This one's the best.
Nice.
You guys seen that movie?
No.
yeah, I have.
Great movie. The topic here is how soon and expensive is too soon. And I know Jackson's going to roll his eyes and Paul's going to grin with delight. Technology and racing and the rush to get us to spend our money on shit that might not be ready. So speaking of which, in case you haven't been paying attention, in a statement published on its website, the UCI revealed it has approved a built-in tire pressure management system from the Dutch wheel brand Scope for its use in road racing and for just in time for Paris-Roubaix this weekend. Tire pressure management promises automatic inflation and deflation of a rider's tubeless tires with the simple touch of a button without requiring the rider to stop. Photos of the Atmos system in a UCI product description document available on the Scope cycling website show a hub-based system. It's like within the hub itself. Spoke-mounted hose carrying air to and from the tire. In the document, Scope Cycling describes the system as, and I quote, a tire pressure management system based on mechanical valves which regulate airflow between the air reservoir and the tubeless tires. You can operate it from the handlebars. You can adjust your fucking tire pressure from the handlebars now. And UCI approved it. It's ready to rock. You've got a mini compressor now associated on your hubs. First, I would like to ask for thoughts on this technological advance. Second of all, I would like to ask for your opinions, knowing that in U.S. dollars, it is just over $4,000
for the wheel set.
For the system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a complete wheel set.
I don't know.
It's just
so.
a hub.
Yeah,
I'm
because
guessing it's an add-on system
Wheel.
to an existing wheel set.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they showed the hub, like a hub that was.
I think it
It is
clamps
a hub
onto
unit.
the
I think
hub.
it's a
That's where
it's an attachment
stored.
unit. Yeah, we're speculating here, but
Interesting.
it sounds like that. But yeah,
I think it's really cool. It's very expensive, which I think is not. It's not necessarily meant to be sold to like regular individuals, such as us. But it also did have a big emphasis on saying that there were no compressors involved, actually. So it is more of a valve-based system where it can regulate the airflow.
but it can add air.
Yeah,
but doesn't it take it back? Does it take it back
It's
to
the, yeah,
itself?
that's like a reservoir. So you put
Yeah, so
only
it's like there's probably only a differential between.
So it
like
sucks
10
it out,
pounds or-
holding it, and pushes it back in.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's really cool, especially for a race like this. I could see it really being used in like gravel races as well, especially with tubeless tires being used more in an off-road scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it'll be something, that sticks around. How much does it weigh? All that type of thing. But I think on gnarlier races, kind of like this, Strada Bianca, I think those races, it may be used, but I don't know if I see it really breaking the ground of cycling in general.
I'm in the dark here. So if you flat, you flat.
Mm-hmm.
This thing
not
isn't
gonna
going
fix
to
the
magically put air into your tires.
No.
Well, that's
well,
bullshit.
it would put air in it, but if you got a hole, it's just going to blow out the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it only has whatever was in the tire in the first place.
I think so.
So if you start at 100, you can go down to 80 and back up to 100. You
There's
can't
gotta
go to
be
110.
some-
There's only
Yeah.
the air that
I think
exists.
that's how I read it. I don't know.
Yeah. That's
Like
what I got from it too,
Yeah.
which is cool, especially like comfort levels, grip levels, as long as races go on. The gnarlier the section, the
Weather
better.
conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a potential game changer, or is this potentially just another really expensive add-on that lawyers and doctors and
Put on their gravel
Yeah.
gravel
dentists are
bikes.
gonna
Yeah.
put on
They'll
their
put it on their
gravel
gravel bikes. Yeah. It's not a road racing
You know.
typical road racing thing at
Yeah.
all.
I don't know if I see it being used very often, because I think that they're gonna put the pressure in, and then I don't know if there's gonna be a game time decision like oh man, I need to change my tire pressure right now.
Crits in the rain. It's like you're standing on the start line and it starts raining and it was dry when you were warming up. I've let air pressure. I've let up to almost 20
pounds.
But then can't you just and then just call it good, you know?
Well, right. I do.
But what if it dries out halfway through the crit? What if you want to put that air back in?
Well, everybody that didn't take the air out, they're already crashed. Then it's just a battle amongst those who have 80 pounds of pressure in their tires. You know.
So. Talk to me about some of the other the technological advances that have happened throughout the sport that have been amazing. I mean, Jack, I remember sitting as a kid with you and I watching the tour and seeing that look pedal in just a glimpse. I think we rewound it and played back the VHS tape about 300 times. Just to the excitement
back and forth.
The excitement of just seeing that white pedal move.
Yeah.
And we've seen obvious amazing advancements within the sport within our lives. Jackson, you've even seen some amazing advancements. Are there ones that you could classify as too soon, as and I immediately made contact with you, Paul, but as far as which ones were too soon, which ones didn't get their chance, which ones actually made sense? I've got just a list here. I went through road shocks frame, we saw those, which are now starting to appear on gravel bikes. We're starting to see what look like to me are classic original rock shocks now on gravel bikes.
I would think getting a hold of an Allsop stem for a gravel bike would be actually relatively cool.
Yeah. I mean, Scott drop-ins, the Mavic Zap system. And I want an honest. I think we're going to be talking about disc brakes and tubeless tires until our heads explode. Grip shift, specific aero wheels such as Spinergy that we've seen. Time trial bikes, which we're now hearing a huge controversy about time trial bikes, especially with the inability to have a proper brake lever on the end of the extensions. You've got them in the edge of the cow horns, but when you're coming up on a, hopefully it's not too soon, bus, and you can't grab brakes without taking your hands out of the aero position, it's an immediate danger. So, talk to me about some things that you might have seen or that are either being shoved down our throats or are great advancements or anything that just pops into your heads that you guys see.
Well, we had a little chat on our long ride, the three of us, and some of the appeal back in the day of bicycles are simple. I mean, bearing surfaces, you had bottom bracket headset and your two hubs.
Yeah.
You had some cone wrenches. I mean, it was, if you wanted to, the average person can fix a bike. It's pretty simple. And nowadays, you dropped your front chainring, and it's starting to happen on your front railings to be adjusted. And all of us thought, how do you fix that? And I'm sure there's a simple answer. But, I mean, that's something I don't know if you can do on a ride. I was going to research it before I started talking about this. Or is that something you have to wait until you get home? That's something that everybody has, like a little toolkit, small little toolkit. You can adjust the old mechanical, really easy. And we were out. I mean, it would have killed a ride if we had to go back, right? It sucked up into your frame. It could have been really bad. So, some of the advancements are great. Clipless pedals really didn't alter like complexity at all. If anything, it made it simpler. And index shifting, I was reluctant because I had no problems. I had 7 speeds. And I had retrofriction shifters, and I never, ever missed if you ride enough, you're not going to miss a shift. It was pretty dead on.
You knew where to slide your shifter. We didn't have an actual, I'm looking at Jackson, an actual click to adjust where the gear was. You had to make sure, and sometimes somebody would come up to you and go, hey, asshole, you're in between gears. Quit making that noise.
Or they come up and slap your...
your
Randy
shifter.
Blaylock.
Yeah. It's because you had to adjust it ever so slightly to make sure you weren't in between gears.
And the improvement on the retrofriction was that
I don't mean to look at you condescendingly. No. Please don't take it.
Well, the spring, when you went to shift in the lower lower gear on your back, you're fighting that spring, and it was tight. And the Campies had a nylon bushing in there, and it would dry out, and you hear it creak, creak. And then if you put pressure on it, sometimes it would shift gears on you retrofriction actually was designed so going against the spring was easy and it was a little harder, so you didn't overshift.
Simplex is what I remember.
Simplex and Campy. I used Campy's version too.
Yeah.
And so, I never used index. And then when brake lever, shift lever came in, I rode with the first guy. He had Campy ergos, and we were going up this hill, and I had to shift in the lower gear on my down tube shifter. I sat down, and he just went click, and he gained half a bike length. That's it. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. So, and that makes sense, obviously the big elephant in the room for me is disc brakes. I know that things are going to advance, but I think it was kind of pushed in road cycling a little fast. And the things that I've mentioned to nauseum about what I like it is the amateur. What I don't like about it is the amateurs. Somebody like if we go down to with
any
Jackson
races,
here, a stage race or something. If you don't finish a stage, you're done. And I was watching this, and I'll try and be short. I was watching a film of a guy from Northern California. He does crit races, and he flatted, went back to the pits, and he got his own wheel, and he put it in, and it was rubbing. And it's like, he goes, that's part of it. Yeah, but he was able, it was just enough, but you can hear through the rest of the video, ching, 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 ching,
God.
So I think they're going to obviously improve on it, but I think it was pushed too fast for the amateur cyclist. And, it's disappointing. It adds weight. It doesn't make sense. Aero bikes is another thing I kind of buck a little bit because they ride really rough. For an older guy, aero bike is not the way to go if you want to ride. And then it added weight because you have more carbon.
Material.
And then you put disc brakes. And now Jackson's bike is only a half a pound lighter than my steel Harry Gary with Campy super record and rim brakes with race wheels. So it's like, what happened to the big push for weight? And no one talks about weight anymore. It's all about aero and disc brakes, and now we're going the other way, and no one wants to talk. So the frustration is, to me, is in the industry. Driven.
Yep.
And there's a lot of riders. I mean, this will be it. Yeah. But a lot of riders don't get to choose what they want to ride anymore. Mm-hmm. They used to. There's a lot of blackout, right?
But it's kind of level playing field if you're all riding a slightly heavier bike and a slightly
That's
whatever.
True. Yeah.
Jackson, is there anything you, in your time of shifting to more modern technology and things like that you long for, that you missed from those earlier bikes, or anything like that? I mean, the difficulty of the fact that to take off your bike to put it on the frickin' roof rack, you need to have
my torque wrench?
Yeah, torque wrench. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I do miss a whole lot from what it used to be. I mean, with my current road bike and my gravel bike, the only instances that I can really compare, I have a lot more, I find, difficulties when it comes to the mechanical shifting. I mean, at BWR, as I've said before, I didn't have my last two gears. Mm-hmm. And I know that if that was electronic, that wouldn't have been the case. I like the crispness. I don't know if it's a word.
No, that's a word.
Yeah, of shifting that comes along with it. Sure, there are some sort of headaches. I mean, I did drop my chain, but also we realized later on that ride that I had been kind of shifting improperly.
You were cross training.
Pretty heavily, and so I think that just I don't know if I miss a whole lot. Yeah, the taking your wheel off thing can be kind of annoying, but the amount of times that I put my bike on the bike rack is not quite that often, So, yeah, I don't know if I've seen some things change, but
I truly wish there was an applicable way to remove your wheels with disc brakes without having to actually take a wrench to it.
I mean, there are,
but that's the benefit of through axle, and I mean, until they. Then you're just going to add some other big bulky thing, and you've defeated the purpose of.
You've made it heavier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there are through axles that have little levers on the side,
sure,
that can be unwound,
which is what my gravel bike has.
Yeah, and mine as well. But I think a lot of brands do is because of that aerodynamic focus right now. They're really trying to think about the fact that they're like a little lever sticking out could be another, like some sort of drag, and so they took away the lever to bring
everything's recessed anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
They can get rid of the disc brake, and that would even take away some more drag.
No.
'Cause there's more. It's
Well,
less aero.
I don't know why they
it
don't
is.
put
The
it
thing
in
is,
the
though-
hub with the compressor. With the,
You
put
want
the freaking brake in the hub.
you want to know some of the things I miss?
What?
I miss baggy jerseys. I miss when I was looking up stuff today.
Wool
I
jerseys.
saw the old school. I was watching shots of Laurent Fignon and Bernard Hinault in the Renault jersey, and I was like, "God, those jerseys flapped in the wind." But those guys were faster than shit. It wasn't a totally aero kit, and it was a beautiful thing. I also miss time trials without time trial bikes. I don't like the fact that this is the reason why I'm not doing the
Chris Froome.
I'm not doing the River City time trial because I don't have a however many $1,000 time trial bike, and I know I'm going to get my ass handed to me because I don't have those aerodynamic advantages. Now, back in the day, I loved that you could just throw some clips onto your bars and be equal on an equal playing field, but you can't do that anymore. I mean, a helmet is 3 seconds a mile now. And I'm not going to go out and spend all the money for the 2 time trials I do a year. It's just ridiculous. I miss frame pumps. Full size frame pumps.
Bring them back.
Full size frame pumps where you could actually get some air into your tire without going
with a braze on. With a braze on.
You know, like you're a creepy guy masturbating and it's off to the side of the road going trying to get the things into the air. Practice. I miss proper seat bags under your saddle with repair kits. Paula gives me shit about it all the time. He thinks I'm
where do
walking
you put
around
your
with
shit?
I have an old sock. I put it in my pocket.
Old sock.
Yeah. Put an old sock. I got a tube.
How
I've got
long has
CO2.
this tube been in there? How long has this sock? How long you been?
I
using
washed
that
it
sock?
before I used it. I've probably had it for 3 or 4 seasons. That sock until it wears a hole in it, and then I get an old cycling sock, and then
I've
put
got
my
an
other
extra
tools in it.
bag. Do you want me to bring you a
No,
bag?
I don't need it.
I got a couple extra
I
bags.
don't need a scrotum.
I got a black
on
one?
my seat. So
You already got one. You already got a scrotum on your seat.
And I speaking of which, do you guys remember there used to be a style form to actually fold a tubular properly to fit under your
I'll
saddle?
show you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't even know how to fold a tube anymore.
No, I don't do the two.
You
I
don't
do
do
the
really?
single.
Properly get a tube. I can't get a tube to properly fold right anymore. It's like it comes out of the box and I'm like, oh shit.
Slinky.
I got to put tape around it immediately or it's going to explode and I'm going to look like an idiot. Yeah, I put tape around it. I put electrical tape around it.
See, that's smart because what happens
then
if
I
you-
have tape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Paul's got residue.
That's
mean,
really
If
neat.
I have
residue
if
on
I have a
his mind.
damaged tire, I can put it on the underside of the tape of the
What
tire.
about the talcum powder
drive
that's on
home.
that? You're
Is
ruining
it
that
latex?
part of it. Yeah.
That's thinking though.
What?
That's thinking.
I'm-
I do the same thing.
Using my noodle. God damn it. I'm not.
Fine.
as
I
dumb
just
as I
worry about, and it probably wouldn't happen, but the adhesive when you're peeling it off, what it's going to do the damage to that tape. I mean, to that tube.
I use electrical tape.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it's
Jeez.
33.
I was gonna say 33.
You guys know like grades of
Yeah.
electrical
Yeah,
tape.
yeah.
We've got these nerds here, so yeah, electrical nerds. So, is there anything else you miss that you guys would wish to? Did any of you guys ever use Mavic Zap when it was coming out?
All the time.
Yeah, Jackson.
Yep.
This was electric shifting before
Before you were
electric
born.
shifting.
no, I know.
And
Yeah.
before he was born.
Yeah.
We sold it in the shop that I worked at, and it went on Gino
sucked.
Lasecchi's tandem.
Did he? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Was it any good?
No.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
The
And
technology
I think
wasn't
another
right.
guy, a doctor here in town, bought it too. And
Doctor
it-
C.
Yeah.
Fucking sports going to be just all dentists and doctors and
It
lawyers,
has
and
been
then
a long
everything's
time.
going to be bullshit.
Yeah.
It just upsets
can
me.
we talk about tubeless?
Sure, Paul. We can
All
talk
right.
about
All right.
tubeless.
I think
I
you're
just
going
got
to
to
see.
hit the X key before we get to. I might play the whole thing. There we go.
I'm just saying that on those, you are going to see that overtake in the pro peloton.
We will see tubeless
Yep.
come over
Tubular and
tubular.
yeah, clinchers
everything.
are just stupid for.
Do you equate that to market demand, or do you equate that to actual and efficient tire?
I
setup?
saw a thing, or I heard what they're going to do. What they've been doing is using that foam insert. That's what keeps the tire. The problem is keeping the tire on that, and they don't use sealant. So that way they can control the. They can go lower tire
Sure.
pressure and not going to pinch a tube. And same with tubular, You know, and the makeup for the mechanics is a lot faster, and that foam keeps it from them to be able to go around corners without having them rolling. So that technology for tubeless is a good improvement.
Can I ask a genuine question? And this is going to make the average listener go, this guy is a host of a show and he doesn't know his shit. He's a dumbass. And I'm going to ask you guys, my understanding has always been lower pressure, greater rolling resistance. I've always been terrified of riding tires anything below like 80 pounds pressure because it's greater rolling resistance. It's like driving a car and getting worse gas mileage.
There is more
because you
surface
have less
area.
Well, that depends on the width of your tire. So if you have a narrow tire and you're running lower, your tire patch gets longer.
Sure.
So if you have a wider tire, and that's the drive also, is you can run lower tire pressure. So then you have more of an oval on that tire as opposed to elongated on the narrow one.
Yeah.
So in essence, you actually, if you're running lower tire pressure, you want a wider tire. Again, wider tires are less aerodynamic and they're heavier. So you got to figure out what race, what you're going to do. And this is my complaint about technology is it's getting so particular. Like each race, I mean, as an amateur, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be my basic thing: 25C tires, and it runs really good. I run about 85, 88 psi. I've always ran that on my tubulars, and rim brakes, and that's simple. I can get a wheel change. It's not going to be a problem, but that's going to be gone. And that's what I mean. It's cheap. I already found a bike manufacturer that does new frames that still do rim brake.
Who?
Time.
Wow.
Time makes a non-aero rim brake frame.
Wow. Jack, they might have bikes.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, I actually called a dealer today, the closest dealer for Argon 18. I'm still kind of stuck on those.
You have had
a listener could tell me why not, but except buy American. I don't want to hear that. Buy American. I mean, I like buying American, but I'm just saying don't have that be your reason for
Jackson and Paul are on Swiss.
I'm on
a Taiwanese bike.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that's not the reason why not to buy. I just want to know if there's a reason not to buy it. But I called and I'm waiting for an answer back from the guy that owns the bike shop that would gladly sell me an Argon 18. Was in Honduras today. He answered my call.
Really?
And he was super pleasant, and I'm pretty excited to at least find out availability and how much he wants. If it's the the factory MSRP or if it's going to be more or less. Yeah. So
weird times.
And again, it's the my big question for him was, on their website everything's SRAM, and if Shimano would be an option, and because I just know Shimano better, I'm a little confused about the shifting on SRAM.
Won't take you long.
I've got SRAM on my gravel bike. It's a good shift.
And I'm like, I go to tell my wife how to switch gears, and I'm like, well,
where's your thumb?
Push the button.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's probably the most complicated of all the systems to me. Is Campy.
Is the Campy, yeah, and I'm pretty used to that, but if either Durace or whatever, but the Gallium 18, it's a standard road traditional as you can get these days. Carbon, non-aero.
It surprises me that Time would be going there.
I think they've just made this model, and it's also it can be mechanical or electronic. Yeah. So, and I don't know if it's just a mold that they still produce. So there's a demand for it.
It's an interesting choice. So, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah. I just stumbled across it since I was sick.
We've talked on the show about a manufacturer would be incredibly smart to maintain a mid-level rim brake system as long as they can, because I it would sell, and it would make an affordable option, an entry into the sport. But okay, there we go. Yep. We're past our time, everybody. I was going to do a taste test of the new Scratch Labs secret flavor tonight, but I forgot to mix it up. Oh. No. And I was going to tell you guys to try it out. Should I spill the beans of what it is? Jackson, you tried it on the other day. Do you want to give an honest opinion of what you thought? It's guava.
Yeah, I overall I did enjoy it at first.
I loved what you said, though.
Yeah, at first it was like it was like, I don't want to say like pencil-y, but a little
you
like,
got a pencil taste. Yeah, that's what you said.
but it was like, at first it wasn't the flavor I was expecting, but then as the time came on, it was more of a like a tropical taste. If you ever taken a handful of tropical Skittles and put it in your mouth, you'll get that flavor at the end.
Yeah.
And I was expecting pineapple because I'd never had a guava before.
I've never eaten a guava either.
Oh,
I don't
really?
even know
Oh,
what it
they're
tastes like.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what to expect overall, though I thought it was very pleasant.
Yeah. I'm still on the fence. I'm not gonna lie. I know that one of our friends of the podcast is Scratch Labs, and it's a trial run with the flavor. I'm still on the fence. I'm leaning back towards my lemon lime and my orange. But
You just reminded me with the Skittles of a sweet but annoying thing about my wife. She will.
There we go.
She will
Bring
not.
it.
She'll eat a handful of Skittles if they're one color. She'll eat one at a time to not eat
Same
two
way.
different colors.
I'm the same
I'll
way.
fucking pour the whole bag in my mouth.
no, that's fucked up.
I'll choose.
That is
I don't
fucked
give
up.
a shit. That it's a flavor. It's
No,
a flavor.
It
it's
is a
not
flavor.
a flavor.
It is a flavor.
Why do they
It's
make
a smoothie
Why do they make candy
Yes.
if
Why-
you
and
aren't supposed to
mixing
put it in
pops.
your mouth?
because you eat
And
them one at
mixing-
a time.
Then they would individually wrap them.
What do you call it when you go mix all the pops?
No, they wouldn't individually
Graveyard.
wrap them.
The graveyard.
If
What about
you-
the graveyard?
The graveyard was fucked up. We were in junior high.
Is
that was
that,
stupid.
is that all the sodas?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying with candy
With
is
some
though
whiskey.
they would individually wrap. Oh my god, they would individually wrap them if they weren't meant to be had together.
That's bullshit.
Nope. No, it's
No,
not.
I will eat
M&Ms.
my lemon and lime at the same time. And by the way, I'm going to end the show with this. I'm happy that lime is back in the Skittles bag, Jackson Bulger. Green apple can suck it. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. Subscribe, tell a friend, like it if you want to. Like it and give us a review on iTunes and tell a friend about it. New site and new fun stuff coming super soon. I'm going to keep talking until I hit the stop button because I want Jackson to know